everybody, this is Heather. Give me a moment while I check out the camera, make sure that it's working okay. It looks like I just turned myself upside down, so let's go back the other way. Okay, let's try this again. I want to make sure I get on the screen so that I can see all your comments. Oh, hang on, I want to mute this. There. I think it's plenty to hear one of me. You certainly don't need to hear more than one of me. So I'm excited to join you guys this week. It's been kind of a tough, busy week, and this is something I really enjoy doing. So I'm glad to be here with you guys. Let's see what I've got to tell you is going on. I may be moving a little slower tonight as I'm stamping. I've been having this really bad shoulder pain for about 3 weeks, and it's been getting progressively worse. I've been to the urgent care clinic a couple of times. They've tried different muscle relaxers. I've tried deep tissue massage. I've tried heat. I've tried pain pills. I've tried everything, and nothing seems to be fixing it. It just keeps getting worse. Went back to the doctor today. Oh, and they recommended that I go to PT, physical therapy, but nobody can get me in for like another 3 weeks. So it's been a very frustrating week. To add to it, it's my dominant hand. I'm left-handed, and it's this arm. So it is definitely slowing me down. So I went to the doctor again today, found out that it looks like it's my rotator cuff and the bursa. If you don't know what that is, I won't bore you with all the details. But got some new meds to try today for it. Still in line to go to physical therapy when they can get me in, and hopefully we'll get on the right track. So bear with me tonight if I'm a little slow moving around. It's just because this arm is really bugging me. But like I said, I'm not going to bore you complaining about it all night long. Trying to think if there's anything else coming up. I am going to be offering a couple of classes coming up, so do watch for that. I want to do a couple kit classes. We have a couple of kits that are really intriguing me that I want to do something with. One is a magnet board kit that looks like a lot of fun, and I want to try to offer a class for that. I'm still trying to settle into whether or not that'll be a live class, meaning local here and people actually show up, or if it's something I'm going to do online. If you have some feedback about that, I'd love to hear it. The other one is one of our kits. It's a celebration kit, very similar to a paper pumpkin kind of kit, and I thought that would be fun to get everybody together and have a birthday party. So those are some things I'm toying with. So like I said, watch for some details. If you have some input or questions, I would love to talk to you about it. So feel free to let me know what you're thinking. Oh, good. It looks like we've got a few people. Hi, Marcy. Hi, Robin. I'm so glad you guys are here. Yeah, Marcy, this shoulder, it's just been awful. Mainly because, you know, the first several times I had to go to the doctor, all they could really do is say, well, try this medication. And, you know, I was all about taking whatever medication would get rid of the pain, but I also wanted to get rid of whatever was causing the pain. So I finally feel like today I got a doctor who was at least willing to say, okay, here's what I think we have going on. Let's address this. You know, so it's progress, right? Anyway, yeah, I'm going to be doing the physical therapy and all that good stuff, and hopefully I'll be back on track quickly. So, move my meds out of the way. I took my meds right before I came on, and then I have them sitting here on my desk. Okay, so why don't we turn the camera around? I've got a couple of housekeeping things to go over, and then we're going to cruise into stamping. I am so excited tonight, you guys, because as always, I have 3 cards for you, but one of these cards is called a twist and pop card. And I saw this done quite some time ago. I watched a tutorial on how to do it, and I've been wanting to do it ever since. But so much time had passed that I knew I needed to go back and rewatch the tutorial and learn it over again to do it. And I was so excited to realize how simple it is. And it is a wow card. That's not speaking anything about myself or my own abilities. I just mean the type of card that it is. people get it and they think that you did this amazing thing, and it's super, super simple. So I think you're gonna love it. But we're gonna do that one last, save the best for last, right? So, okay, let's turn this camera around. Bear with me while I adjust. My hand is in the way. Okay. A little bit of shuffling here. Sorry about all the movement with the camera. Okay, I think we're pretty good now, or close to good anyway. Okay, so just a reminder that we have Celebration going on right now. If you are new to Stampin' Up! And you're unfamiliar with Celebration, what this is a campaign that we run. This year is from January 4th through February 28th. And this entire little brochure is filled with free items that you can earn. There's stamp sets, there's paper packs, there's even like a kit that's paper and a stamp set that you can earn them for free just by purchasing the things you love. So for every $50 you spend, you get to pick one of these gifts out of this catalog. There's no limit to how many you can get. There is one or two gifts in here that require a $100 purchase. But again, you can do any combination that you want. You can spend $50 and get one gift. You can spend, sky's the limit, and get whatever you want. Hey, Kathy, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Hey, Eric and Talina. Yeah, Robin, I'm in landscape. Isn't that exciting? I never know from week to week if it's going to work out or not. So it's just kind of a crapshoot, you know, that throw the dice and see which way I end up. Anyway, so Celebration, we've only got about 3 weeks left of Celebration. So if there are some of these free gifts that you've been eyeballing that you really want to get, now is the time to do it before they start running out of products, because they won't restock them. Once they run out, that's it. Reminder too that at the beginning of January, we launched our January through June mini catalog. There's a lot of fun, summery, springy sets in here that are just lots of fun to play with. And I'm trying to showcase those these days, just so you get an idea of what's in here. If you need a catalog, if you don't have a demonstrator that you currently work with here in the United States and you would like a catalog, whether we're talking about the Celebration brochure, the mini catalog, or our annual catalog, just drop me a line and let me know you'd like one. I would be happy to send it to you. I wanted to remind you about something that launched last week. It's a product pack that it's called All Together. It's a suite, and you can buy it as a suite where you get markers, you get stamps, you get dies, and you get a paper pack. And you can get that whole suite for $105, or you can piecemeal it. You can get each of those individually, or you can get the stamps and dies. There's lots of options there. Just so that you know, however, this particular special campaign is only running through May 2nd, and here's what that means. The products in here, the stamps, the dies, the paper, these items are only available during this campaign, so through May 2nd. The markers are going to stick around. The markers are in various like skin tones, but they aren't just for skin. I've seen people use them for nature, and they range from like a dark brown to a very light ivory kind of. So there's really a lot of versatility with them. They are going to stay in our product assortment, but these other things, if you want to get them, you're going to want to get them before May 2nd, before they go away. Then we also have Paper Pumpkin. Just a reminder, today is what, the 9th? So if you are interested in this month's Paper Pumpkin Safari Celebration, you have through tomorrow to subscribe to it. And this is a great time to order a subscription of Paper Pumpkin. You can get 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months, or you can do a month-by-month trial. That works too. But if you get one of the 3, 6, or 12-month subscriptions, your purchase is large enough that it qualifies you for free Celebration gifts that I mentioned in that Celebration campaign brochure. So now is a good time to try it out if you haven't tried it before. and earn some free stuff while you're at it. Also, with Celebration, I want to mention joining my team. I am always looking for people who are excited to stamp and enjoy it and want to be a part of something bigger. It's always fun to sit and stamp, but it's even more fun to sit and stamp with friends. So if you are interested in joining my team, whether you are wanting to join as a business builder or just to be able to get your own products at a discount or anywhere in between, Stampin' Up! Welcomes you, and I welcome you, and there's no discrimination there. So if you join right now during Celebration, in addition to the $125 worth of products that you get to pick for your kit, by the way, that kit only costs $99 and you get to pick $125 worth of products. In addition to that, you get to pick 2 more stamp sets of your choice out of the catalog to go in your starter kit. So extra freebies when you join during Celebration. If you have questions about that, I would love to talk to you about it. No pressure. So drop me a line. Let me know what your questions are, or you know, anything that I can help you with to help you decide if that's for you, if this is for you. If you already know this is for you and you want to sign up right away, you can do so on my website at heathersides.stampinup.net. Looks like the camera doesn't quite catch that. There we go. heathersides.stampinup.net. And that is my business website where you can sign up as a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. You can also place orders, all that good stuff. So, hi Kathy, welcome. Thanks for joining us tonight. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I've got fun cards in store for you tonight. So this first card we're going to make tonight uses the Sweet Conversations stamp set. I'm also using Happy and Heartfelt. This is a fun set. I really, really like it. It's all different sentiments, and I love the font in it. And I like that. I love big sentiments, but I also like them when they're just a nice, simple, small size that you can add to the card without them overwhelming the card, and these are perfect for that. So I really, really, really like this stamp set. Sweet Conversations reminds me a lot of, you know, the candy hearts that come out this time of year, and there is a designer series paper that matches. And there is also this die set, Sweethearts, that has the hearts, a tag, some chain hearts, a banner, a little envelope, all sorts of fun stuff to put together little Valentine or love-related cards. So we're going to use this in the first card. Let me get it out and I'll show it to you. So this is our first one. It's just nice and simple. Make sure I'm in the frame here. Just nice and simple little I love you card. So let's get going on that. We'll start with our envelope. The general is watching with you. Who's the general? Marcy says the general's watching with her. And is this somebody that I should be worried about? By the way, I loved your picture that you posted on Facebook of your cat in your photo box. That was so funny. Okay. So, oh my goodness, you guys, I also have to, I can't remember if I showed you my new glue holder last week. Did I show you guys my new glue holder? Oh, one of your new kitties. And the general is the kitty's name? I love it. Hey, Jason, welcome. Okay, so let's trim the excess off of this. Okay, so somebody tell me, did I already show you guys my glue holder? Because you guys know I've talked about it before. I was storing my liquid glue in a shot glass. It was the perfect size, and it was the perfect price. In fact, I stole it from my husband. So, you know, when you can get something for free, that's awesome. But I did find a replacement to the shot glass, and I absolutely love it. And my husband saw it and just rolled his eyes. But I know you guys would appreciate it. Okay, are you guys ready for this? This is so awesome. This is my new glue holder. Look, it's little pink monster feet. I don't know how well you can see it. But see, isn't this awesome? I just love it. and it just fits right in there. And I just was watching a video of another demonstrator who had mentioned, she had hers and she mentioned it, and she said, oh, my friend makes these. If you're interested, this is their link. So I got the gal's information and contacted her, and I said, do you still make those? So I got one from her. I was very excited by that. Okay, so our card, the card base, this is crumb cake. It is a half a sheet. It's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. So basic card base. Then I have, make sure I have all my little pieces here. I have a piece here of, why am I drawing a blank on the name? It is Coastal Caribbean. I can't believe I can't remember the name of it. Okay, so anyway, somebody tell me the name of this because this is going to bug me. Marcy, I will see if I can track down that gal's information again, and I'll post it. So if you want to contact her. In fact, she only had like 1 or 2, and I just, Coastal Cabana, thank you. I just said, oh, I would love one of those, especially a pink one. And so she contacted the person who makes them for her and said, can you make a pink one? And they said, sure. And so I got it. So anyway, okay, so Coastal Cabana. And this is just 1/4 of a sheet. It is 5 1/4 by 4. And then a piece just slightly smaller in basic white. It is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. I'm sorry, this one, the crumb cake, is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And then for the inside of the card, I've got 5 1/4 by, or 5 1/4 by 4. So let's do the inside. Now, what I did to decorate the inside is I used, let me show you, this die right here that's the little chain of hearts. And the reason I chose to do this is because I knew I wanted some for the outside. And when you use this die, if I can pick it up, when you use this die, it punches out the chain, but it also punches out all those little hearts in the center. So with one swipe on the cutting and embossing machine, I was able to get both the insides of the hearts and the outer chain. So what I'm going to do now is add a little bit of glue to my silicone mat. You know, when you have pieces like this, there's a few different ways that you can add glue or sticky. You can use our glue or adhesive sheets when you cut out the die, and it turns it into a sticker basically. That is super simple to use. You can just directly apply the glue from your glue bottle. But sometimes when it's a really fine little piece like this, it gets a little tricky just because you don't want to have too much glue. So a nice easy way to do this is I put some glue on my silicone mat, then I use a sponge dauber and I just dab it all over the back of my die cut. This one still has some sticky on it from before. They don't last super long when you do that, and you do have to replace them, but you figure you can replace it where you get a set of 5 for $5. So they're $1 a piece. So, oh, that's a good idea, Jason. Jason suggested trying Etsy for the glue holder. That would work too. Okay, so now I'm just sticking down my little die. Move my silicone mat out of the way. And let's add some adhesive to stick this to the inside of the card. You know I like to stick stuff down right away because I lose it if I don't. Okay. Put this on the inside. Okay, so inside is done. Set that aside. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece of crumb cake and I'm going to take my Whisper White craft ink pad, and when you order this ink pad, just so you know, it comes uninked. And what you do is it comes uninked, but it comes with an ink refill, and you just ink the pad. I don't know why they do it that way, but they do, but it's not a big deal. Try to get a piece of scratch paper here. You'll see why in just a moment. Okay, now I need my stamp. Okay, so now I'm using the stamp that's 3 little hearts in a row. And I'm just going to do this super simple. Actually, what I want to do first is I have my little I love you message. And I'm going to put it on first because it's going to be at the bottom. And that way I know how far down I can go versus doing the hearts and working my way down and then running out of space. So let's see here. Got 1 set of hearts, and I'm going to do 3 sets of hearts here. Okay, close up my ink pad. Always close your ink pads before you get embossing powder open. Oh, tell me this isn't stuck. There we go. Because if you get that powder on your ink pads, it makes a huge mess and it's just not fun to deal with. Okay, so now this is our white embossing powder. I've used the white ink with white embossing powder. I'm just pouring it on. Shake off the excess. Now I have little spaces where there's a little bit of extra embossing powder sticking around. I should have used my little embossing buddy first, but I didn't. So we work around that. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and pour it back into my container. That's one nice thing about the embossing powder is it looks like you use a lot when you pour it on, but most of it goes right back into the container anyway. Okay, now I'm going to be turning on my embossing heat tool here for a moment, so it's going to get a little bit loud. Bear with me, it'll only take a moment. You can see my paper is starting to curl a little bit because of the heat. As it cools, that heat or that curl will start to flatten back out. Oh, that's cool, Robin. You should post a picture of your glue stand. That sounds really pretty. Okay, so I now have all of that embossed on there. And what I wanted is I really only wanted 1 of these tiny little hearts, but I got 4 because of the chain. That's okay. Because what I do is these extras, I set them aside for use at a later date. Okay, now I'm going to take one of our tiny little tiny baby dimensionals, if I can find my little tiny baby dimensionals, and my take your pick tool, and I'm just putting this little dimensional right here on the back of the heart. It's kind of showing through a little bit there. I may have to adjust it. I may have to cut it down. I don't remember cutting it down when I made it. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I put my little dimensional on the back, and then I'm just going to put it over this heart right here in the lower corner. Just like that. So that 1 heart sticks out. Now let's go ahead and glue it to our coastal cabana. And then we'll stick this down to our card.
So what's everybody doing tonight besides this? Anybody watching any good shows tonight when this is over? Oops, this is a little bit crooked and I want to straighten it back out. Seems like right now there's not a whole lot of good TV on. It's kind of in between seasons, sort of. Okay, so card number 1 is done. Easy peasy. And you really could do something like this with any one of the sentiments in that stamp set that I showed you. So now I'm going to go ahead and clean my stamps and we're going to move on to card number 2. The craft ink, just so you know, does seem to like to stick to the blocks. So what I recommend when this is over and I go to put my stamps away, what I do is I'll take like a diaper wipe and get all the ink off the block, because it just seems to kind of smear on the block and not get off really well. Not a big deal. It comes off. You just gotta fiddle with it. But yeah, diaper wipe or maybe some rubbing alcohol with a cotton pad will get that all cleaned up for you. Okay. All right, ready for number 2? Now in this one, we're going to use some of the Simply Marvelous Designer Series paper that is one of the free celebration gifts. I love this paper. I think it's so pretty. You can get, it's got pink, or kind of, yeah, pink. It's got yellow, purple, kind of a minty green, gray, and blue. One side looks like marble. The other side, so beautiful. Looks like satin in all the different colors. So it's great. Spend $50 and you could get this for free. So we're going to use that tonight. And we're going to also use the Watercolor Shapes stamp set and the Hello Ladybug stamp set. Watercolor Shapes is in our annual catalog, while Hello Ladybug is one of the new ones in our January through June mini catalog. Thank you, Kathy. Okay, so, oh, Kathy's gonna watch Despicable Me. Yes, I love the Minions. They make me smile. Okay, so now our next card, show it to you. This one's a little bit busy. Okay, it's a whole lot busy. It's a book fold. I think that's what I've heard it called, a book fold, because it's got kind of like a book binding on the side. And that's what we're gonna make here. So let's go ahead and get started. And for this, I also used the Designer Series paper that I was talking about, that goes with that heart stamp set, the Sweet Conversations Designer Series paper. And let's start with our envelope. Okay. Get a little bit of glue on here. You know, Marcy, when I first saw the Watercolor Shapes set, I thought, oh, I bet there's a lot you can do with that. I totally need to get it. And then I got it, and then it sat there for a long time because I didn't know what to do with it. So it is a stamp set that I found that I absolutely love, but you kind of have to just bite the bullet and force yourself to just start trying stuff with it, because once you do, you'll find that you really do like it and there is a lot you can do. But I think that because it's so basic, by itself, you sit there staring at it for a long time, trying to get the ideas to come. And the best way to get them to come is to just dig in and do it. Okay. And they are great for adding a little dimension and background to other really great stamps. Okay, so we've got our envelope here. Now, this is our card base. This is a half of a sheet of real red cardstock. I cut it lengthwise, so it's 4 1/4 by 11. But then here's how I scored it. I scored it at 5 1/2, which is the middle. So you can see it's folded in half like a normal card. But then I also scored it again over here at 1.5, I think. Let me measure it just to be sure. Yes, 1.5. So I did it at 5.5 and then at 7. So that we had those different score lines. So I'm just going to go ahead and get a good crease there with my bone folder. In this card, I'm also going to be using my little medium daisy punch. I'm just using it for to cut out flowers tonight, but just so that you know, in this Hello Ladybug stamp set, it does work to cut out these daisies. The stamp is just the punch is just a tiny bit smaller than the stamp, but it still works perfect to cut it out. So you don't have to fussy cut those. Okay, so let's start. First, we got all these great pieces. So let's start with the inside. Let me make sure what I'm doing here. Okay, what I did, let me show you the daisies I punched out. I just punched out a whole bunch. I don't even know if we're going to use them all. And I took a piece of my Simply Marvelous in the pink shade right here, and I just cut out a bunch of them. And you can see there's the marbling on there, but it doesn't. It just looks like different textures and such because it's such small little pieces, and that's exactly what I wanted. You can use the other side if you choose, which is the satiny looking, which would give you a little bit darker look. I chose to go with the lighter marble side. So let's set those out. And then I also have several of them that I cut out of the designer series paper that matches our envelope. And again, that is in the Sweet Conversations designer series paper. Okay, now what I did here, this is the piece that goes on the inside of our card. So we're gonna do that first. And all I did is I take my 2 little pieces of flower, one from each type of cardstock, right? Or designer series paper. And I put a little bit of glue in the middle there. And then line it up. Whoops. There we go. And then I wanted a little center of the flower. So what I used, I'll show you. I'll show you the picture on the box because that's easier to see. This tiny little thing, I don't even know what you want to call it. It's just a little thing, is the center of the flower. So I'll use my Real Red ink pad here, and I'm going to stamp right in the center of my flower. There we go. Just to give it a little bit of definition there in the center. Close up that Real Red ink pad. It's another one that I seem to find myself wanting to lay down in. Okay, so now I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the back of my flower. And I'm going to let my flower go over the edge of my card. Okay, it just adds some movement. And then what I'm going to do is take my scissors and trim off the extra. Okay, just gives it a little something in the corner so it's just not a plain white sheet. Did I put a sentiment inside? No, I did not. You could stamp a sentiment in there as well. I did not in this case. So let's go ahead and stick this down on the inside of our card. And I'm going to line it up so that why am I drawing a blank here? So that the margins are roughly the same. Did I use the wrong one? Oh, poop, I did, I think. No. I think I need to resize something, but we'll do that in a minute. Okay, so we're okay there. Now, I'm going to take a piece of Blushing Bride and a piece of our design. I'm just going to put this on here. Wow, I really not getting, oh, maybe I did get the margins right. I did these a few days ago. I was actually on the ball this week and had my cards designed over the weekend, which normally, you know, comes like Tuesday night and I'm still putting stuff together. So I was pretty proud of myself for being ahead of the game, but then I do that and I forget what I've done. Okay, so let's stick this down on our, get off. That, my friends, is our Real Red faux linen ribbon, and I really like it. I love the feel of it. It ties easily, and it's not super girly, so you could put it on a boyish card if you wanted. Okay, so I've just stuck that right there. Now what I want to do is I'm going to take my ribbon. I'm going to tie a little bow. You know me, I like my bows. Oh, this one is kind of backwards from the way I want it to go. Just want to adjust this a little bit, play with it to get my bow to be just right. Okay, now I'm going to cut my tails. That's kind of a funny cut, but that's okay. That's okay. Okay, now here I have a tag, and the tag came in that die set. And I'm also going to use this little circle from the watercolor shapes. I'm going to use my Blushing Bride. Stamp a little circle. Actually, you know what I want to do first is I have this little strip that I want to put at the bottom of my tag, and I think I'm going to put it first just so that everything is lined up already before I stamp that little circle. Okay, so I've got that little strip on there. Oops. Okay. Now let's stamp that little circle on there. Clean off my stamp. I just stuck my finger in it. Okay, for this one, I've got a little tiny stamp that says hello. It's in the Hello Ladybug set. And I'm just going to stamp it over that little circle. Ta-da! Okay. Now what I want to do, it's stuck to my paper because I had some little glue on my paper. Okay, this is just a little bit of white baker's twine. And I'm feeding it through that tag. And I really just want it to tie through here. Just tie around. There. Now in this case, I maybe made my loop a little bit too big, and I'll show you a way to deal with that. So first I'm going to cut off the extra on here. And I kind of like tucking that knot behind the red bow so it doesn't show, because it doesn't need to show. No one needs to know it's there. There. Now, if I'm worried about that tag sliding down a whole lot, I could put like a little glue dot or something right there that just holds it in place. So we'll see how it does. If it stays okay, I'm going to leave it, but if I need to, we can glue it down. Now let's work on this front piece here. I think I might need to trim this down just a tad. Yep. Yep. Okay, give me just a second to trim this down just a little bit. Okay. Now, for this one, what I did is I had my Blushing Bride, and I'm also going to use my Real Red, but I'll just do them one at a time here. And I have the big circle from the Watercolor Shapes. Now, especially with the photopolymer stamps and these watercolory looking ones, I really do recommend, hold on here, I really do recommend using like a piercing mat, something to give you a little bit of extra cushion that the photopolymer stamps don't have. It just gives you a little bit better image. Hi Marilyn, welcome. Thanks for joining us. And I'm just going to stamp a couple of these on here, sort of a random pattern. I mean, they're big, so there's not a whole lot of room for random, right? So now we'll put that ink pad away and we'll get out the red and do a couple of red ones. Put one right there. And one there. There. Clean off my stamps. I swear, Real Red and the Shaded Spruce, they are colors that always want to be worn. I end up with them all over me when I use them. The other colors I typically do okay, but these two in particular, I always end up wearing them. Okay, now what I want to do is add a few of these little flowers, just like we did to the inside of the card. But we're going to kind of do it in random places all over. So let's glue a few together. Get them lined up here so that the petals alternate. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I used 5 before. Let's put together 5 of them and see how that works. And what I don't use, I can set aside for another card on another day. Okay. Last one here. And you know what we could do with that one left over, if we wanted, we could put it on our envelope too. Okay, so now I'm going to just go ahead and put a little bit of glue on these and kind of stick them in random places around our card. They do kind of blend into the paper quite a bit. But once we add the centers of our flowers, that does seem to help. See, having this one go off the edge just like I did with the inside. You know what I think I'm going to do with this one? I think I might, well, that might be a little too much. Yeah, let's leave it like that and we'll add it if we decide we need it in the end. Okay, now I'm going to take some of the wonderful gems. And I want these red ones. Actually, let's go ahead and cut off the extra first. Got a lot of glue everywhere here. There we go. You know, I think this little guy right here, I think he would do wonders in that spot. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick it right like that, because it's just going to be a little bit of extra. Do you want more than that? Yeah, maybe a little more. There we go. Cut off that extra. By the way, guys, if you are liking what you're seeing tonight, I would love it if you would give me a thumbs up on this video or share it. Any of those little things that tells Facebook and the YouTube powers that be that this is a good deal and that they should encourage more people to come check it out. That would help me a lot. I kind of am inclined to do a little bit there. So let's do it. Let's do it. Just a little bit. See, this is what it's like inside my brain, you guys. I make decisions, and then 2 seconds later, I make new decisions. I'm sure I could give a psychotherapist a real run for his money. Okay, so I feel better now. Hope everybody else feels good too. Now let's put our little wonderful gems on here. Trying to decide if I used the big ones or did I use the little ones. I used the big ones. Good. I don't use the big gems very often because it seems like a lot of times these feel too big for the card. So I often find myself running out of the little ones and still have a ton of the big ones left. Okay. This guy's trouble. Okay, so now we have that. Let's go ahead and glue that down to our piece of Blushing Bride. I probably should have waited to put those gems on until I glued it down, just because it's kind of hard to put the adhesive on when it's all bumpy, but that's okay. It's all okay. Okay, now let's go ahead and put this on our card. Which is right here. And now we have, see, there we go, with our little tag. And like I said, if you wanted, you could use like a little glue dot to hold your tag in place so that it doesn't flop all over. But I don't mind it flopping. It will hold the card in place. But we do want to go ahead and glue this piece down right here. So For this part, I recommend either using Seal Plus or use some of your tear and tape because you want a nice strong adhesive that's going to stay in place here, that isn't going to come up every time the person opens the card. And there we have it. Ta-da! So there's card number 2. And that's a good use of showing you how to kind of incorporate a couple different stamp sets to create something completely different. Now, finally, we're going to do the twist and pop card. Who's ready for that? Anybody else excited to see how this works? It is playful, Robin. I enjoy playful cards. That's a great way to describe them. Okay. Move all my extra little daisies out of the way here. Okay. Okay, Robin says she's ready. Anybody else? For this one, we're going to use another one of my sets that I love. It's versatile. It's easy to use. It is in the annual catalog, and it's all squared away. And the floral squares dies that go with it. And let me show you this card. So here on the front, it's just nice, pretty, not anything too over the top, right? Okay, good. Kathy's ready. Okay, but when you open it, ta-da! What do you think? This is what I call a wow card because somebody sees it when you give it to them and they think, wow, she must, you know, have some sort of engineering degree to be able to make this. But it is really, really simple. And I just realized another piece of cardstock I forgot to cut, so I'll cut it when that time comes. So let me show you how this works. First, we've got our envelope. Let's get that ready. Okay. And this paper, by the way, that I'm using is our Pansy something or other. And it designer series paper, and it is in the Pansy Patch maybe, and it is in the annual catalog. It's got a lot of fun, really pretty prints in it. And for this card, I chose to use our very vanilla envelopes instead, just because I thought that it went well with the pale papaya. Not quite as stark as the white, the basic white gets. Okay, now, for your base of your card, all you're gonna do is cut your card lengthwise, 4 1/4 by 11. Basic, I mean, it's a very basic card base. Card base itself, super simple right there, okay? Then what you're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna decorate the front of the card. We'll save the twist and pop for the end because decorating the card is gonna be quick and easy. Okay, first let's go ahead and mount this onto our pale papaya. And now we're going to take, this is some of our pale papaya ribbon. And we're just going to tie a bow. Okay. There we go. Now, let's just make sure that the bow is the way I want it. Looks like it came together pretty nicely for me tonight. Okay, now tie our, or cut our tails, trim them a little bit. Okay. And I do want my bow a little bit offset here. That seems a little bit long still, so let's cut that down just a little bit. Okay. Okay, I don't like how you're laying, buddy. Maybe I spoke too soon. I'm gonna sit here and fiddle with this bow all night. Okay. Okay, that's all right, I guess. I say that and then I keep fiddling with it. Okay, so part of the problem is that's going the wrong direction now because that got turned. Okay, I'm gonna leave it alone now for a moment anyway. Okay, so what I did, the next pieces that I used is I used these dies and I cut out 4 of these. 3 are gonna go on the inside, but 1 is for the outside. So I've got this one. Then I also took these little flowers and I cut 4 of these. So this is the pale papaya and this is Calypso coral. And it's gonna fit right on there. Then I also have a piece of the designer series paper that's gonna fit right behind it, and a piece of pale papaya that's gonna fit behind that. So let's glue all those little pieces together. Now, just so you know, this little flower, it isn't, the little petals on it, they aren't all exactly the same. So you do kind of have to play with it to line it up to make sure it lines up properly with the piece you're laying it down on. See how it doesn't quite lay down there? It doesn't quite fit on the petals beneath it. So you just gotta kind of play with it. There we go. Till you find where it fits. There we go. Now I'm gonna go ahead and add a little glue. And you can, just like the heart chain that we did on the other card, you can put the glue directly on like I am now. You can use the sponge dauber technique. You can use your adhesive sheets, whatever works for you. So now I'm just gonna line that up here on this tiny little square. And there's just a very slight margin. It's 1/8 of an inch. Well, it ends up being 1/16 of an inch on each side. Okay, so then I'm going to take this one and glue it down. Okay, no, I think that's okay. And I'm using the Genial Gems, and they have kind of a light green and then kind of a light peach. We're going to use the peach ones. And the little ones fit perfectly inside that little hole. And what I like about this is you can see, I think you can see from the side here, try, it doesn't add a lot of bumpiness to it because you've already got a couple layers of paper. And that gem fits in the hole so it sinks down a little bit, which is good because we're going to use these on the inside too. And you don't want your inside of your card to be too bulky. Speaking of it being bulky, you may, if you're mailing this, you may need to put an extra stamp on it just because it is a little bulkier than normal. But, oops. See, I'm back to filling it with it, you guys. I can't help myself. Okay, we're going to tie this again because I just can't handle it. Already, I think this bow is turning out much better. I'm glad I did this. Okay, there we go. This one's just a little long now, so we'll trim it. Okay. Now I'm going to use dimensionals to pop this one up. Find my regular dimensionals. Those are little dimensionals. Okay, so I'm going to put a few on here. Now I want to make sure that the dimensionals are going to be on either side of the ribbon, so that the card isn't extra lumpy bumpy where I've got both ribbon and a dimensional. Oh, I hate when the dimensionals are like this. The backing still comes off right, but you have to kind of fiddle with it a little extra, and it drives me crazy. Okay, don't they know I'm in a hurry? Okay. Let's see here. Oh. Okay, now I'm going to peel these edges off, or the backing off, and stick that right here. There we go. Let's go ahead and mount this onto our card. And then we'll get to the nitty-gritty of the fun part. Okay. There we go. Now, to make the pop and fold part, you want 2 strips. And they can be the same, they can be different, however you want to do it. This one that is the solid is going to be our mechanism, okay? This one, the designer series paper, this one is going to be what they actually see, the part that unfolds, okay? So what you're gonna do with both of these is first fold them in half. And you can just score these, use your scoring blade if that's what you choose to do, but because they're small, it's easy. These strips, by the way, here's the little trick I learned. When it's inside the card, it's going to be this way, right? Whatever size of card you make, figure out what is a 1/2 inch shorter than the piece of card. So in this case, it's 5.5. I only wanted this to be 5 when it's folded in half. So make it 5 and then times 2 because it's going to be both sides. Does that make sense? The reason for that is then when the card is closed, nothing is sticking out over the sides. Same goes for the width. Whatever the width of your card is, make it a 1/2 inch, at least a 1/2 inch smaller, so nothing sticks out the sides. Now in this case, I made this to be 2 inches by 10 inches, because you can do any width or whatever. You just want to make sure it still fits within the confines of your card. So now what I'm doing is I'm folding these in quarters. So I just fold it in half and then fold each half in half. Okay? Use your bone folder to get a nice crisp edge. Crisp edges are what is going to help your mechanism work well. It's also going to help your card lay as flat as you possibly can keep it. Okay? Now, the other thing that I wanted to show you about this. Okay. First of all, I'm sorry, this solid one, you didn't want to fold this in quarters. You do want to do that on the designer series paper, but not on this one. So I'm just going to recut this really quick to show you, because that's easy to do. I want it to be 2 inches wide. Oops, that kind of pushed over a little bit, didn't it? 2 inches wide by 10 inches long. Ooh, that's kind of ugly. Okay, now you are going to want your scoring tool for this, whether you have a scoreboard or a scoring blade like I have on my cutter. First, you want to score it in half lengthwise. So that's going to be at the 1 inch, because remember this one is 2 inches wide. So I'm going to score it in half lengthwise. Then I'm going to score it in half widthwise, which is going to be at the 5 mark, because remember it's 10 inches long. Okay, so this is our mechanism piece, 2 inches by 10 inches, scored in half this way, in half that way. Now I'm just going to fold it just to get some good folds here. Now I'm going to unfold it. Now this part is really easy to do, but you want to pay attention because it's tricky to explain. Okay, you're going to take this side and fold it over, right? But this score line right here, you want to line it up with this score line that goes this way. So I'm going to bring it over, and before I fully push it down, what I want to do is look at the back, make sure that my score lines are lined up. This one lined up with that one. And if you have to wiggle it a little bit to get that in place, that's okay. Okay, so see what I did there? I folded this piece over so that my score lines lined up. Now we're going to do it this direction. We want this score line to line up with this score line. Okay, let's check the back, make sure it's lining up properly here. Okay, so if you can see this, you can see there's kind of like a little X in the middle where all of our folds are, right? All you have to do now at this point, hold it like this, kind of push these together. Whoops, hold on. Oh, sure, now it's not doing it the way it's supposed to. Why isn't it doing what it's supposed to? There we go. Okay, it was just going the wrong direction. What it should do when you pull them together, if you look at it this way, you can see how it's kind of causing this to go forward and this one to go backward. Okay, why is it doing that? Hold on. Hold, please. Okay. I'm trying to figure out why it's not doing this. It did it perfect the other night. Bear with me. Oh, because I'm doing it the wrong direction. Silly, silly. Okay. So, we've got these pieces. There we go, see? And it makes like a little house shape, sort of. See how it does that? I'll show you guys that again since I got kind of discombobulated with it. So when it's out like this, you're gonna push these in and they just go together like this, see? So you're pinching these together and down. That's the problem. I was trying to go up. So you're going to pinch these together and go down. Now, here you want to definitely use a nice strong adhesive. So I did use my tear and tape for this. Takes just a moment for you to get all the tear and tape on, right? Get on there. And I'm going to do it on both sides. Okay. Now I want to use my bone folder to just push that glue down, the adhesive down really well. And then I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool to pull the release tape off. So first we'll do the one. I'll wait to take the release tape off the other side until I need it, just so that I don't end up with too much sticky hanging around. What you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and center this left to right. And you want to go get the tip of that point right up to the score line, but not over the score line, because you don't want it to get in the way of your card folding. Okay, push that down. And now you're going to close your card on it. And so you can see it does make it a little bit bulkier, which is why I think you might need an extra stamp. So when you open it, see, your thing opens just like that. Okay, now, it's kind of weird that it's not opening fully, but okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the piece that's our designer series paper. Hey Judy, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Okay, this one you're going to go ahead and fold it in half. And then fold each half in half. Okay. Now let's go ahead and decorate this, because I just think it's easier to do it, get it decorated ahead of time and then install it. So we're going to take a little bit of our glue and glue the little Calypso coral flowers down. Remember, you need to line them up just right with the flower you're putting it on. There's one. Two. And three. Okay. Now we also have this one square that I cut it to be the same size as these in Pale Papaya. And we're going to take the Calypso Coral and we're going to stamp a sentiment on there. In this case, I have the best thing about today is you. Just stamp it right there in the center. There we go. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and glue these down on the individual little squares of this strip. So like I know I want this one right here. It's hard to see the score lines to know how you're centering things. If you line it up so that your score is on a line like on this grid paper, then I at least can know where I'm trying to center. Okay, now we have these guys. It's so weird with this shoulder trouble that I've been having that I was telling you about earlier. I'll be sitting here doing something and then all of a sudden my whole arm goes numb. I can still use it, it's all numb. And it's the weirdest feeling. But I will say I prefer the numb to the pain. Okay, last one. Okay. Now, when it comes to installing this onto this piece, your mechanism in here, you're going to put adhesive right here on that corner, and I'm going to use my regular right here. You're going to do the lower left and the upper right. And when I'm saying lower and upper, I'm saying this in reference to that score line that goes down the middle. And now just line it up. If you cut them the same size, then they should just line right up for you. There we go. And now when you close your card, why is this? There we go. When you close your card, why is mine getting stuck? It's not cooperating. There we go. Just needed a little bit of guidance there for a moment. Okay, see? So it just kind of all folds together. The trick is make sure you only put adhesive in the lower left and the upper right. Having it free there is what allows it to kind of fold into that shape. Then, you see how big of a piece I wanted here. This is the one where I said I forgot to cut out a piece. So it looks like I want about 4 1/8 by 4. So give me just a moment. I chose to make my mechanism the same color as my actual card, just so that it wouldn't stand out quite as much. You can certainly do something different if you choose. I mean, I suppose you could have an artistic reason for wanting it to show, depending on what you're doing. But if you don't want it to show, then I recommend just use the same color as your card base. And then I was going to stamp another little message inside, and I should have done that before I glued this down, but I'm living on the wild side, folks. Happiest of birthdays to you. We'll just stamp that right there in the center. Ta-da! Okay. Okay, there we go. Put that away. And that is how you do the lock and fold. There we go. Just like that. So just a reminder how we did that mechanism. Since I kind of boogered it up a little bit, I just want to show you again. You score it to fold lengthwise. Ignore these scores right here because those are where I did it wrong. But you want it to fold lengthwise that way. You want it to fold in half also. And then this is where you line up the score lines. Remember, line that up. Flip it over, make sure that the score lines match up there. And then you're going to do the other direction. Oh, that one's kind of wonky. There we go. That's better. So then, when you're pulling these together, Remember, you're squeezing these together, but you're pushing it down. So it just comes together like a little house. Just like that. Okay? And then you glue here and here, and then it'll fold out neatly the way you want it when you open your card. So those are our cards I have for you guys tonight. Let's take a peek at what we have, move some stuff out of the way here, and just kind of recap everything that we've done tonight. Put some stuff away. Tonight was kind of a willy-nilly mess. Okay. So we have this super fun fold, the twist and pop. Oh, you know what we forgot to do on this one? We'll do this really quick. Get my take your pick tool. I wanted to put the little gems. Oh, I think I'm using the wrong ones here. Hold that thought. Oh, they're there. Because here I'm using the Genial Gems that have kind of an orangey tone to them. A little peach tone. Use the small ones. And they fit right there in the center of your flowers. There we go. Just like that. Easy peasy. Okay, so we have this fun little fold. Like this. We had another fun fold that we did with the book fold on this one. And then last but not least, we had a really simple one right here where we did some embossing, heat embossing. So that's what I have for you. So let's see here. Okay. If you, like I said, liked what you saw tonight, I would love it if you would give me some thumbs up or share the video, any of that kind of thing. That really does help me out. It feeds the algorithms that say, let's put this out there so more people see it. So I would so appreciate it. Oh, thank you, Robin. Robin says they're awesome. I was so excited to share these with you guys tonight. If you need any supplies to make these cards or other cards you have in mind, I would love to earn your business, and you can do that by going to my website, heathersides.stampinup.net. If you place an order under $150, I would love it if you would use that host code. If your order is over $150, don't use the host code because you'll have free stuff coming to you, and I want to make sure that you get it. Either way, if your order is at least $50, you're going to earn celebration sets for free, and you can earn an unlimited number of those. So time is running out to take advantage of those, so definitely start thinking about what you want to get from the celebration brochure. If you have any questions or want to talk to me about joining my team, anything like that, drop me a line. I'd love to hear from you. Have a great week, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye.